So what would your mum think of your fake watch? What would your girlfriend think of your fake watch? Would you be a lesser person in their eyes? Would your wife think you were fake or just a prudent person? How about your colleagues or your employer? Is your boss wearing a replica and passing it off as real? What do we all really think? Well, this is my third video on this interesting subject, and I wanted to make this video because while I'm essentially pro-replica, the comments and observations of you guys have influenced me and to some extent moderated or changed my opinion. I've received a large number of emails asking me where to buy a replica that's good quality from a trusted source. I've had loads of anti-replica comments, some from flamers and some from those who can genuinely see both sides of the argument. So, fake watches are for fake people. That's been said so many times, but let's examine what it means. What is a fake person? Well, a fake person is someone who pretends to be something he or she is not. To come over as more successful, maybe more discriminating, richer perhaps than he or she really is, and showing a replica watch off to say, "Look at me, look at how wonderful I am." Do I think that fake watches are for fake people? Well, yes, surprisingly, I do think that, but I also think that fake watches are for people with other motivations too, and let's look at some of those motivations. Those who have a real watch and want to protect it as a valuable asset and buy a fake of their own watch, well, are they a fake person? No, not necessarily a fake, they're just being cautious and prudent. There are those who are whizzes, watch enthusiasts, and they love replicas and Franken watches as they are genuinely interesting items, and they focus on the minutiae of those kind of watches and get to know all the differences, and they're not really fake people either. I think, and in fact they do protect a lot of unsuspecting buyers by reporting fake watches when they see them over eBay. So there are those on principle who don't want to play the game, or the game of the big Swiss watchmakers, and who object on principle to the massive amounts of money charged for these luxury items that sometimes have £100 million in marketing spent on giving them a credibility that perhaps they shouldn't really have. But why am I a little bit more anti-replica now than when I first made my video? Well, I now don't think there is much sense in buying large numbers of replicas, and probably for my own collection I'm limiting it to those that I have already, and I'm not buying any more. While replicas are not nearly as nasty and unreliable as the anti-brigade make out, they are not the same quality as a genuine watch, and it makes no sense to pretend they are. The movements are not as good, the features that the genuine items have may be missing or not work in the way intended. For example, GMT functions, double-barreled, retropente, there's all kinds of things that are in genuine watches that are just not able to be faked. There will always be telltale signs that some of you know about, and people will always feel embarrassed and second-rate walking into a real marque boutique, which is not recommended, by the way. So automatic movements may have rotor trouble, timekeeping will be okay but not up to chronometer standards, and it can be difficult to get genuine straps for your replica watches, and you may have to resort to lies and subterfuge to be able to do that. You will always lose money on a replica watch. When I've sold replica watches and they sell very easily, I've usually got back 70 to 80% of the initial cost on resale, whereas a genuine watch bought second hand can sometimes make money, but the key thing with genuine watches is to only buy correctly and not necessarily to buy through one of the high street dealers as a new watch. So what's my conclusion? After hundreds of comments that people have made on the first two videos, my conclusion is that genuine watches are worthwhile. save up for a high quality, used, genuine watch that can maintain its value. I know some of you guys like cheap shitter watches, but I say just save for longer and you will be much happier and make fewer transactions in the long run. For those of you who I haven't persuaded to save up for a genuine watch, then I am told that the new Noob Rolex Subs and Deep Sea Sea Dweller version 7 are the current state of the art at the moment, and you probably won't get better than that, and if you do want a replica it's worth looking out for one of those. But I've got a real sub, it's made in 2010, it's still every bit as good as the day it came out the Rolex factory, so why not wait a little bit longer, seek out an affordable real Rolex from a trusted dealer online, maybe in the Rolex forum or eBay or your local second-hand watch dealer, and take a look at the pre-ceramic sub-no date or the first ceramic sub-no date, which is a great bargain and probably will be under $4,000 or $5,000, £3,000 plus roughly. So that's all I've got to say. This may be the last replica watch video that I'll make, but I don't want you guys to think that it's always a good idea buying replicas, because it certainly isn't, and I would suggest that you go and buy or look at the possibility of buying a second-hand genuine watch from a really good company like Rolex.